Alrighty, this is what I do. This is a TV monitor in front of me showing me the flow of the rock into the jaw crusher, which is way over there. It's going through this apron feeder, as you can see right here. This is a big apron feeder dropping onto that screen, going, falling into the tray and shaking into the jaw crusher, getting crushed, getting sent out of a belt up this long, couple 100-foot long surge stacker, going onto the surge pile there. And inside of this pile, you can see, this is the end of it here, there's a tunnel with 2 feeders, and it takes the rock and implodes it on itself and it sends it out this feeder here. And here's my controls for those feeders. Both of them are on right now, feeder 1, feeder 2. You can adjust how fast each one feeds it. These are my amp gauges. This one and this one here are the 2 motors on the 66 cone crusher, which is right there. As you can see, this is the cone crusher. It's got 2 250 horse motors that runs it. And this one here is the 54 cone crusher, which this screen right here is feeding into. You can't really see that cone, but it's right there. And what the cones do is they spin in a circle like this and crush the rock, and it falls through the bottom and it sends it back out. And if the rock's still too big to go through these screens, it'll send it back through until it is small enough. It rolls is over here. This is the rolls crusher. This is my amp gauge for that. We're doing good right now. We're nowhere near running steady yet, but it's early in the morning, so I'm warming everything up. These are all the buttons for all the conveyors and the screens on the wet side and dry side. This is the dry side over here, and this is the wet side over here, which stretches way around that corner. So the rock goes through the 54 cone crusher here, and it goes up to what we call the new screen, which is this yellow screen here. And it goes a couple different directions from there depending on which tray it hits. The top tray sends all the rock that's oversized to the 66 crusher, which sends it back around to the split screen here, which also, depending on what size the rock is, sends it a different way. It'll send it back to the 66 if it's still oversized. If it's small enough to go to product, it'll fall out the bottom tray and go up this stacker here and go into that bin and get loaded out from the stockpile truck. If it's still too big, but not big enough to hit the top tray, then it'll send it back around to the 66. See, I don't know if you can see that right there. The jaw's starting to fill up. This is my speed control for the apron feeder. I'm going to back that off a little bit. Here's the numbers right there. I'm also going to turn it off for just a second. Let that catch back up. Then after it goes, if it makes it to the middle deck of the split screen or the new screen, it hits what we call the Barber Green conveyor, which is right here. And it sends it over to the rolls, right here. And the rolls just roll together. They're 2 rolls that roll together. And they'll send it to, it's got its own screen up there. Turn the apron feeder back on. Sends it to the rolls, and once it finally hits the correct spec, we call it, it'll fall through the right tray. It'll hit a conveyor, which will take it to this stacker and fall into that tray there. And then she's ready to get hauled to a stockpile, in which case it's this one here, not this one, but the one right behind it right there, which is 3/4 minus. And this is what my office looks like. My radios. And that's what I do all day.